My name's Peta James and I'm an occupational therapist. I work for myself and work throughout southeast Queensland. What I do is just what I do. It's part of my personality and part of my inner being, I suppose. But I find that a lot of people really like the fact that I do communicate a lot with a lot of people, make sure that everyone's in the loop all the time, and really make sure that the worker themselves particularly is involved in the situation along with the employer and all other stakeholders. So I have a client that I've worked with recently. He's a 30-year-old carpenter who had an injury at work that was from a situation that wasn't in his control. It was a bit of a workplace health and safety type thing that went on. He had not been able to return to work with his normal employer because of the huge falling out that they had. And then he wasn't also getting as much therapy as he probably should have been getting just because he'd had a couple of falling outs with therapists. He had a lot of personal troubles as well that did come into the situation. So I've spent many, I can nearly say hours now on the phone with him in tears and really going through that whole process with him and trying to make it more comfortable so that he is understanding that, we're not just looking at how his shoulder's doing. We're looking at the fact that yes, his shoulder's impeding him from what he can do at work, but also, what he can do at home, how his relationships are going, how he's financially being able to cope with the mortgage, his reduced wage. And that's been a really significant thing for him to be able to have that support and having someone else to talk to. Early intervention strategies for return to work is really important for when you're looking at making sure that the worker's going to come back in a positive way. Some of the things that you might be able to do is actually making sure you've got a good therapist-worker relationship, and that might just be paying attention to those things that are going on in the worker's life outside of their work. The other big thing is to educate them on those things that they're doing at home that might be aggravating their injury that they're just not aware of, and that's really important both for the worker and for the employer, because sometimes the employer can think that it's all at home that they're doing all the aggravation rather than being just at work, and trying to encourage them and also educate the employer on reducing their risk of actually aggravating things. We do have lots of involvement with other associations and also attending other meetings and education sessions and that sort of thing really does help in terms of making sure that you are on top of the things that are going to fulfil the role required for the return to work. Make sure as well that you're involving the stakeholders that aren't at work, whether there are off-site doctors that are involved and things like that, to make sure that all parties do have a role in that training process. Stay on top of all the medical information that's out there so that I'm able to provide them with the best and most up-to-date information. Working as an OT is really rewarding. It's a matter of that there isn't just one day that's going to be exactly the same as the next. There is many things that happen and many different types of people that you have to interact with, and I find that very stimulating and very rewarding because you're able to impact on their lives both personally, at work, and then also within their own cultural situation and learn a lot from them as well.